Act 1. The Lion and the Riddle. As Samson grew, his strength became legendary. His arms could shatter stone, and his voice boomed like thunder. But Samson was as wild in spirit as he was strong, driven by passions that often blurred the line between divine purpose and personal vengeance. One day, while wandering in Timnah, Samson's eyes fell upon a Philistine woman. Against his parents' protests, he declared, "She pleases me. I will take her as my wife." It wasn't love, it was obsession. His marriage would be the first thread in a tapestry of chaos. On the way to Timnah, a lion leaped from the brush, roaring with bloodlust. Samson seized the beast with his bare hands and tore it apart like paper. Days later, passing the carcass, he found bees nesting in its remains. Scooping honey from the lion's corpse, he tasted its sweetness, a dark omen of his life. Power, triumph, but always shadowed by death. At his wedding feast, Samson proposed a riddle to 30 Philistine guests. Out of the eater, something to eat. Out of the strong, something sweet. The stakes? 30 linen garments if they solved it, 30 if they failed. For days they were baffled, but on the 7th day they threatened Samson's bride. "Coax the answer from him, or we'll burn your family alive." Fearing for her life, she betrayed Samson, revealing the riddle's answer. Furious, Samson stormed out, slaughtered 30 Philistine men to pay his wager, and abandoned his bride. Act 2. A one-man army. The Philistines retaliated by burning his wife and her family. Consumed by rage, Samson became a whirlwind of destruction. He trapped 300 foxes, tied torches to their tails, and released them into Philistine fields, setting their harvest ablaze. The Philistines sent an army to capture him, demanding his life from the men of Judah. Bound and delivered to his enemies, Samson seemed defeated. But the Spirit of the Lord surged within him. He snapped his bonds and seized a fresh jawbone of a donkey. With it, he struck down 1,000 men. As the sun set over the battlefield, Samson stood alone, bloodied but unbroken. His voice echoed across the plains. "With the jawbone of a donkey, I have made them heaps upon heaps." Act 3. The Seduction of Delilah. Years passed. Samson's victories piled high, but his weaknesses remained. In the valley of Sorek, he met Delilah, a woman of hypnotic beauty. The Philistine rulers offered her silver to uncover the secret of Samson's strength. Delilah coaxed and pleaded, her words as soft as silk. "Tell me, my love, how can you be bound?" Samson toyed with her, spinning lies. "Bind me with fresh bowstrings, tie me with new ropes, weave my hair into a loom." Each time he broke free, laughing at her betrayal. But Delilah persisted, wearing him down with relentless questioning. Finally, exhausted, he revealed the truth. "A razor has never touched my head. If my hair is cut, I will become as weak as any man." As Samson slept, Delilah sheared his 7 locks. When the Philistines burst into the room, Samson awoke, powerless. They bound him, gouged out his eyes, and dragged him to Gaza, where he was imprisoned and forced to grind grain like an ox. Act 4. The Fall of Dagon's Temple. Blinded and humiliated, Samson's spirit burned brighter than ever. His hair began to grow, and with it, his faith in God's power. One day the Philistines gathered in a temple to honor Dagon, their god. Thousands filled the hall, mocking Samson, parading him as a trophy of their triumph. "Bring him out to entertain us," they jeered, laughing as the once mighty warrior stumbled forward. Samson, guided by a young servant, stood between the temple's central pillars. He raised his face toward heaven, his sightless eyes filled with tears. "Sovereign Lord, remember me. Strengthen me once more, that I may avenge my eyes." With a roar, Samson pushed against the pillars. The ground trembled as cracks snaked through the stone. The temple collapsed in a deafening roar, crushing the Philistines and Samson beneath its weight. Epilogue. In his death, Samson achieved what he could not in life. He struck a blow so devastating that the Philistine dominion began to crumble. His story is a paradox of divine strength and human weakness, a tale of passion, vengeance, and redemption. Samson was no perfect hero, but through his wild, dramatic life, the power of God shone bright, even in his fall.